Welcome to Gale Force Conversations with members of Music NL. In today's episode, we chat with one half of Quote the Raven, Kirsten Rodden-Clarke. An impromptu trip to Nashville in 2019 set the wheels in motion for the duo's sophomore record. Quote the Raven marries smooth vocal harmonies with an at times haunting aesthetic that both bewitches and allures the listener. They draw influences from the likes of Joy Williams, Brandy Carlisle, and the Milk Carton Kids. The pair entertain audiences with their quirky, quick-wit dynamic that glimpses into the daily lives of touring musicians. Thanks for joining us.
As long as I got you to take this journey on with me, there's nothing else that I could ever need.
Well, welcome back to another great conversations on GaleForceWins. And I have to tell you, boy, there's nothing more inspirational than being in conversation with musicians. The amount of creativity that's here in Newfoundland and Labrador is simply impressive, and the potential that these people have to take their product and send it around the globe makes me excited about the possibilities. Kirsten, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Kirsten Rodden-Clarke, and I am half of the duo Quote the Raven. And we've been playing for about 10 years now. Only started touring about 4 years ago when we put out our first full-length album. But yeah, now that the pandemic has sort of calmed down, we're really excited to just get back on the road and do as many shows as we possibly can.
Kirsten, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Conception Bay South. Actually, so did Jordan, but we didn't know each other. We went to two different high schools and didn't meet each other until after high school. We were in this like choir. There was only like 6 of us, so more of like a singing ensemble, I guess you would say. But we used to pick the songs and we wanted to sing, create our own harmonies sometimes. And one time we sang a duet together. And everyone thought our voices blended really nicely together, and that's kind of how we started the band.
Now, was music a big part of your life growing up when you were younger?
It was. I used to actually do lip syncs more so than sing. Okay. I used to have a really nasally voice. I remember people telling me that, and that was really sad for me. But I used to always want to perform. I used to, do lip syncs on the street for whoever would come watch. Yeah, me and my friends, we would just...
How old were you then?
I was probably 9, maybe.
Wow. Okay,
yeah.
So I've heard of kids setting up lemonade stands.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a lip sync stand.
We did, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What were some of the songs you were lip syncing?
We did anything by like Aqua or Spice Girls, S Club 7, like all of the poppy kid, groups. Yeah, we did all that.
What kind of sound system did you have while you were doing this?
I think it was just a little like speaker, like it wasn't CD player. It wasn't that high tech. We
well, you're 9, so
right. We don't know, but yeah, we used to create our own dances and all that kind of stuff. And I used to have actually every birthday party I would do the same thing. My sister would set up my dad's camera, and we would just create a dance and lip sync. So
the performancing was important to you.
It was, yeah. I kind of lost it a bit, I think. I kind of lost my confidence in elementary, so like once I got to school and started growing up. And it didn't really come back to me until I was like out of high school. And even now I still feel super awkward. I wish I could, but I don't think I could perform like a dance or like that kind of thing anymore. But I'm way more confident in my singing, and I'm happy that that's where my career has went.
So high school, you were performing a lot in high school then?
No, actually, I was in the choir,
right.
But anytime I had to sing by myself, I would choke. So I was in some music lessons, some voice lessons, and every single time we had a recital, I would go up, sing a verse, maybe half a chorus, choke, cry, and leave. And that was like constant for quite a while. And then once I joined this choir of 6 people and kind of started singing with just someone else, like I found that really, really helped me instead of always being put on the spot. I didn't like everyone looking at me, I think was the weird thing. And even now, that's the thing that makes me uncomfortable. It's not the singing part. It's just I feel really awkward sometimes.
This is fascinating to listen to you talk. Like,
yeah.
I did not expect
Yeah.
you to tell us this.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
very successful musician right now, and you've gone through, and I think that's important, Alan, for like the people that we have watching this.
Yeah.
Someone going through where they choke, in
Yeah.
your words,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and here you are.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I've come a long way. It's taken a long time, but yeah, it's completely done like a 180 sort of.
So after high school, academically, where did you go then?
So I actually took some time off. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a veterinarian. That was like the thing. I was going to be a vet. It's going to be great. Love animals. And I did this veterinarian camp, and it completely scared me.
Where did you do that?
In PEI at the vet college. It was just really, really hard, and there were certain courses that you had to take in order to become a vet, and I was like, I can't do this, like dissecting animals and all this stuff. I was like, I can't do it. So that was out. And then, we were in this choir, and Jordan was already singing downtown, like weekly, and he asked me to join him, and that was sort of the beginning of our career, and I never ever thought that it would go this far.
How long ago
so.
was that?
That was in like 2010, maybe 2011.
12 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, true. I'm so
You
I'm
said
so
it's
stuck
10
on
years at one
time.
point, and I remember, oh yeah, that's
You're not alone. Everybody with COVID has lost a couple
Oh
of
my
years.
goodness. Yeah, so even longer than that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a long time now.
Right. So off you go. You went over to PEI. I'm sure you put your hand inside the cow with a hole in the side, right? Am I right? Yeah. And so this is not for me.
I did that.
You're not
yes.
alone. Yeah. Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
He lives in PEI, so he
Yeah.
knows a bit about
Oh,
this.
do you?
Yeah, my
Yes.
daughter went to vet school too, and yeah. So,
Oh, no way.
Well, she went to that program
To
that
that
you
program,
did. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's fantastic. So okay, so Jordan is performing downtown, and do you remember the first time you performed together?
I don't, but I believe it was definitely at the Levee, because
Okay.
we used to play at the Levee, which is not a bar anymore. But Gene Brown used to run it, and he was so great to us, and he would let us play like whenever we wanted, basically. And yeah, we used to play down there, usually to the bartenders, because it was
Right.
always a weekday or a time that didn't really make any sense. Yeah, we'd get enough money to buy some pizza, and then we go home. And that was like for, I'd say, the first 4 years at least. I did actually go to Holland College to do some performing arts. I did a foundation program there. And in the meantime, Jordan was in a rock band. So there was a little bit of time, a few months where I was away, and then I came back and
Great
continued.
program at Holland College.
It was really great. I did it more for the confidence building, because I think I was so, I had so much stage fright that I thought that would help me, and I really do think it did. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was a great program.
You must have fell in love with PEI. You kept going back.
I love it so much. If I could live anywhere but here, it would be PEI, I think,
Is
for
that
sure.
right?
Yeah.
What about
I absolutely
PEI
love it.
intrigues you?
I don't know. I think it's the landscape. It's very similar in terms of like small town. It's not really big or anything, but I love that the tourism is so big there as well as here. But I don't know. I'm not really sure what it is. I can't really tell you. Maybe it's because of the experiences that I've made with new friends that I met there.
Yeah.
That might just have a hold on me. But I really love it.
Yeah, PEI to me it's just a content place to be.
Yeah.
There's a feeling of contentment around you, right?
Yes.
But I find that in Newfoundland too, by the way.
Exactly.
You're right. I mean, the two places are so similar
They
in the
are.
way, although one is very Scottish, one very Irish. They're a little different in that respect,
Right.
but there is a lot of similarities there, isn't there, for sure.
Just enough difference.
Just enough difference, right, to make it somewhere else. Yeah.
Yes,
Right,
exactly.
of course. So you're performing for pizza.
For
So
pizza.
when does it So when do you make this transition for performing for pizza to where you are? 'Cause that's a big jump.
It is a huge jump. I think it was probably when we started working with Chris Kirby, who's originally from here but is living in Nova Scotia now. Yeah, Jordan met him at, I think, a conference one time, and it was really late, and Jordan was just like, we'd love to work with you. And Chris was like, yeah, sure. And then it didn't really happen. And then we thought, he's the perfect guy to make this album with. We have to reach out again. And he was all for it. He was like, come over to East Lawrencetown. East Lawrencetown, Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Yeah. And he said, come on over. And then he had the big idea of setting up this writing camp for us, because we had only written, Jordan was mostly the writer. I write a little bit. I still don't consider myself a songwriter, really. I've gotten a lot better, but it's mostly Jordan. So, Chris was like, let's have this writing camp. I'll invite all these great East Coast writers, and we'll just write for 4 days and see what happens. So there was 9 of us, and we wrote, I think it was like 14 or 15 songs within that time. We would like break off into groups. Yeah, it was a lot of art created that weekend. And then we recorded for like a week after that. And then came home, and he kind of added some instruments and different things while we were home, and we were just back and forth kind of thing. And that was sort of the beginning. We met a lot of people through Chris. He's been amazing for us, like in our career, and it's just kind of continued steadily, I think, since then.
It's very interesting how sometimes the right people enter your life at the right moment, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about that writing process that you went through with those 9 other people. That must have been just so much creativity.
It was, and we really didn't know anyone. I think the only person that we knew was Stephen Green, who's also from here. So it was also like that introduction thing, and then kind of being out of your element a little bit, not being used to co-writing. But that excitement as well, I think, kind of drove the weekend and probably made it so creative for all of us. I don't know. It was just so many talented people in one room.
So you're physically in a location, and
we were just in his
Lawrencetown, in a house, sitting around.
Mm-hmm. And we would like break off into different groups of people.
And you just walk me through that, because it's fascinating.
It is, yeah.
So like you'd come up with a theme or a topic. How would all that play out?
Yep. Sometimes it was like different. So we write different ways depending. So when I write with Jordan will just start strumming. That's usually how it starts, or and start creating a story around what he's feeling or something like that. But there's been other times where he's seen something or something has affected him, and so he writes about a specific, something that happened to him. But that weekend, I honestly, it's such a whirlwind. I was so nervous. Like, it was another thing of me just feeling out of my element that I feel like I have sort of blocked out exactly how it happened. But all I know is it was really successful, and we had the most fun. I know, like, a parrot wrote one of our songs. I don't know if you knew that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Victoria and Chris have this parrot, and one night the shingles had blown off the roof. It was like a horrible storm, and the power went out.
Sure you weren't in Newfoundland?
I know. I was like, I thought we left this weather behind us, but no, it followed us. And we all sat around. It was like 6 of us that night. We all sat around by candlelight and just drank some wine and started writing Golden Hour, which ended up being the title track of the album. And in the mix of writing, we were at this line, and we were like, okay, what works with this? And Monty, the parrot, was like, play Freebird. And they taught him to say that because they thought it was so funny that he would say Freebird. He's in a cage, God love. And it rhymed so well with the line before, and we just all started laughing. We were like, this has to go in this song. So
how many people know that story?
We try to tell it often at the shows, because we just think it's just the funniest thing. But Monty's like my best friend. I have his feather in my phone. He's like
credit Monty
awesome.
with
yeah, we're like, how do we give him songwriting credits? We're gonna have to like bring him treats all the time, pay him in food, or I don't know. Pick them up when I go there.
We've heard a lot of stories.
I've heard a lot of stories. That's way up there.
Way up there.
Yeah. Freebird.
He's really cute. Yeah, play Freebird. Yeah.
So that's great. So you come out of that experience, and now you're ready to go to the album. So tell me about how that journey takes place. It's one thing to write a song, but how do you go from there to where you want to an album?
It's a lot. I don't think people realize like how much work goes into it, and it's not just us; it's everyone. So once the producing is finished, it has to go to a mixing engineer, make sure all the vocals are loud enough, whatever you want to stand out in the songs, and then it goes to a mastering engineer, who just makes sure it's on level with everything else that's on the radio and matches with everything, and then it's like packaging, which. It costs so much money. That's the other thing I don't think people realize. It's like it's a huge investment to make an album, besides just creating the songs. But yeah, it just goes into production. You get the physical album, and then you're at the point where you have to try to promote it.
Right.
How involved
know.
are you in the business side of things?
In the business side of things, Jordan is definitely the brains. He is the businessman. I try to have, even especially now, like more input because there's so much more happening and there's so much more on our plate, and it's just too much for one person. So I try my best to be on it, but he just knows. I don't know how. I don't know if he just picks it up on the way, but he just knows what to do. He's been like the main piece of our band. It would not be the same without Jordan for sure.
Probably the passion for what he's doing makes all those other things easy to do. And it seems like he
Yes.
knows what he's doing, right?
He
'Cause
does.
he's
He
just so
does.
passionate about
Yes.
what you do. So how involved, like, I want to go back to, like, you just mentioned a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, I did,
like
sorry.
engineer, this engineer, right?
yeah.
How involved are you in all of that process? Are you,
So for the first album, we got Scott Hammond to mix the album. And
Is he from Newfoundland?
He is from Newfoundland, yes. We actually did go to his house and were there when he was mixing things or would give our input and stuff. But normally, I don't think that's how it happens. Normally, the mixing engineer would just do it on his own. And if you had notes, you can give them notes and stuff like that. But it's usually their thing,
I
yeah.
gotta ask a kind of a geeky question. but
Okay, I hope I know the answer.
Is your singing separate from Jordan's playing, or did you do it together and then you bring it to this guy Scott?
How does it work?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
doing a podcast is similar
Yeah.
to what you do, and trying to make sure the levels and all that. I'm fascinated. I don't want to bore all the people watching, but there's probably some interest in that.
Yeah, no, so I'll just go back a little bit. When we made Misty Mountains, which was our EP that we recorded with, oh my goodness, Robert. Why can't I remember Robert's last name? He's from here.
Wait, you get our age.
This is ridiculous. He's going to be so upset with me right now. Anyways, we sat down and recorded the whole thing live off the floor. So it was just 2 vocals and a guitar, and we just recorded it. And then anything that we wanted to add afterwards was added alone.
And you recorded it onto what? I'm geeking out a little bit.
Okay, there's like different programs.
here.
There's
Okay, into a computer.
into a computer, yeah.
Which
yeah.
is fascinating.
Yes.
The music industry has certainly changed. 20
Yeah.
years ago, I guess people weren't doing that, but now you can put a microphone into a computer and record it and make acceptable quality audio.
Yes,
right?
and there's filters, and I mean you can make, like for your voice, you can pitch correct it if that's what you want to do.
I would need a lot of that.
Well, I mean, you know what? Like most artists are not completely perfectly on pitch all the time, and you might get a really good take, and there's just that one little thing, and you just want to bump it a little bit. We've never like pitch corrected like some people do, and that's totally fine if that's what you want to do. But it is sometimes a necessary thing to use. But yeah, normally the instruments are recorded on their own, but we did the first EP like that, live off the floor, and then the second, the full length that we did with Chris, it was separate. It was, he would sing normally first because he sings the melody line, and then I would do the harmonies on top of that. Sometimes we'd have to go back and forth because sometimes I do sing the melody on a verse, so it was interesting in that regard. And then just add everything kind of after that. Well, sorry, the guitar goes first because you need some kind of layer to sing on. But and then our second one that we just put out, Can't Hold the Light, that was a bit different again. Chris wanted some of the songs to be sung at the same time because he thought that the feel of it would be more real. It would be more like the live show if we sang it together. So he would set up 2 vocal mics kind of back to back, make sure they're isolated so that Jordan's very loud. I don't carry as far as he does, so he would have to make sure the vocal mics were isolated, and then we'd sing.
So you go through this whole process. Now you're given something. What do you have in your hand? A digital file or what?
Yeah,
And
it's
then
all
you've gotta
files on the
go-
computer.
And then you got to go get somebody to market this or take it there.
Yeah.
So how's that process play out?
Yeah, it's a strange thing, especially because we're not on a label or anything like that, so all the decisions are ours. So originally, they're digital files, and then it's up to us to send that to someone who can actually print them on albums or vinyls. There's also the artwork. So Aaron Bishop, who's also from here, who's Jordan's like childhood friend from high school, amazing digital artist. He makes all of our artwork. So yeah, he created what the CD would look like. He created the outside, you know, all that stuff. Any of our posters, just all the branding basically is him. So it's a lot of different pieces. But then you have an album, and then you're like, now I have to sell it. Like, how do I do this? And really the only way is to tour. I really believe that, you know, the local stores can sell it, and yes, that's very helpful. But in order to get it to a mass audience, you have to bring it to them. You have to show them that you have it, and you have to show them who you are. So it's a lot of touring.
So tell me about touring. What's that like?
Touring is fun. It can be a little bit lonely, I'm not going to lie. I think now that the pandemic's over, we have a new appreciation for the road. Jordan has always loved it. He just wants to go all the time. What is it like? You know, at first it was hard. You know, you're not getting very many people out. You feel like nobody likes your music. Am I going to be able to continue to do this? I think that's the one thing that I try to tell new artists in Newfoundland too, is that you can't base your career off 1 or even 2, maybe even 3 tours. You're probably not going to make your money back, and I think that's the scary thing. It's an investment in your business. But yeah, you just have to keep pushing through. You meet new people. So many crazy, you know, stories. Most of them good, but some of them you're like, nah, I probably won't be going back there. Not playing there again. But yeah, no, overall it's just it's so great just to find people that really connect with your music and want to. I love getting to know people. I'm a pretty social person, so I don't know, I like to meet new people.
Where have your tours taken you so far?
We've been basically across Canada now, which is awesome. We did like a home roots tour that brought us to like Alberta and a couple of shows in BC. We went to Nashville and did Americana Fest, which was a crazy experience for us. We have been to Germany, but it was for a private event for a family member, but it was still just so cool to be there and play. We've been to, where else have we been? I feel like there's definitely more. Mostly Canada. We really want to expand now. Like this summer, there's so many different festivals that we're doing all across the west coast of Canada. And then after that, we just need to make that leap and get out more.
So you're out there, you're getting in front of the audience, getting that music out there, and that's really what it is. That's hard work. This is not.
It is.
It is. This is hard work. Right?
It is. Yeah. Besides just the practice and trying to be as good as you possibly can, it's hard work to kind of connect with an audience, especially if it's a really big audience. I think this is going to be really cool. The festivals that we have coming up are going to be a different ball game altogether, I think, for us.
Do you do meet and greets after you perform at all? Or?
We have done, yeah, we have done. Like, it depends. So for a while there, we were doing more like home concerts. So that was awesome because it was like super intimate and you're basically in someone's living room and you're playing to 50 people and then you just all chat afterwards and, you know, so that's really cool. But yeah, at the festivals we did one in Grand Prairie. We did Bear Creek Festival and we did have a little meet and greet after that. That was really cool. And people actually came over. So I was like, oh my gosh, you actually want us to sign your CD? That's so nice. It was a nice experience, yeah.
When you were in, I want to take you back to Nashville for a second. There's a lot of talent in
So
Nashville,
much.
right?
Yeah.
When you were walking down, I think it's Broadway there, the main street, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, I'm here.
Yeah, it's like a daunting thing and then also an excitement because for Americana Fest you're going for some of these like big name artists that are going to be performing. But yeah, if you just walk down the streets and you hear it could be anyone just singing and they're all fantastic and there's so much talent there that it's like it just makes you wonder because you're like, oh my gosh, like not that they're like, how come they're not as big as the ones that we're going to see at this festival? You know what I mean? Like, it's just incredible to see all the talent. But
how did you get to that festival? Is there a little story there or what?
Yeah. So Tamara Cater, who is awesome, she was putting together a no case. So basically there's a bunch of showcases for Americana Fest, and sometimes people will try to create their own outside of it at a bar close by so that they might get people just who are attending the festival to come see theirs. So she created this no case, and she wanted us to do it. And we knew it was going to cost a lot of money to go, but we were like, we need to do it. It's a experience. And by the time we went, they had actually incorporated it into the festival. They liked the lineup and they wanted it. Wow. So
really? How cool is that?
Yeah, it was really, really cool. So yeah, it was nice. We got to play at the Station Inn, which is like iconic place to play. So that was awesome in itself. And yeah, just to experience and like take in all the different musicians. I will say, I always thought that Nashville was going to be super scary. Like, I thought it would make us feel like we'd never, ever do it. And once we got there, I kind of felt a little bit of relief. Like, you know, although these people are immensely talented and we have a lot of work to do to get there, it was sort of like, I think we can. Like, you know, we connect with this music. I think we can do this as well. So it was a weird thing, but it was really cool to have that. Yeah.
I love the way you describe, because you're right. You walk down that main street in Nashville, and every bar and everybody singing. You just stop and you're fascinated by the talent. Yeah. And you were you're that talent, right? you're in that mix, right?
We'd like to think so, but yeah.
That's pretty amazing stuff. What is it about Newfoundland that creates so many talented musicians and it's creativity? There's so much good things happening here. Why is that?
I wish I knew. I want to say it's in the water. I think, you know, most families have music in their bones. You know, and I don't know why. I have no idea why. I'm so happy that it is like that, and I'm so happy that Newfoundland can share their stories through music, and I think it's the thing that connects everyone the most. But yeah, I can't tell you why.
To me, it's creativity. It's creativity in everything.
Yeah.
Like you talked about Jordan's friend doing the album cover. Creative person. It's just creativity oozes. Business people around here, they're creative in the way they think. And it's a resilience that people have that they're going to succeed. It all comes together, doesn't it?
Yes. Seems to. I still have to find that confidence, but I'm on my way.
So tell me, just get back from the ECMAs. Tell me about that experience.
I wish I could go back right now. We barely slept. We were up till like 5 a.m. every night. No, it was just a gathering of friends is what it felt like. When we're here in Newfoundland, we feel it too. It's just everyone's very supportive. We're all very happy for each other's wins and sad for each other's losses and really supportive of each other. And it's so nice to see that the whole East Coast is like that. And we have so many friends from PEI and Nova Scotia who feel the same. You know, they came to our showcases, we went to theirs. Always like pumping each other up and just being, because it's not a competition, you know, we're all very different. Even if it's the same kind of genre, we're all really different. So that's my favorite part of these ECMAs, is just like the family and the community of it. Seeing everyone we haven't seen in a couple of years. I mean, we won an ECMA. That was incredible, and I still feel like it's a little bit surreal. But at the end of the day, it was to gather. It was my favorite part. Yeah.
Tell me about the ECMA you won.
We won Contemporary Roots Recording of the Year. And yeah, we were up for 3. We were up for Album of the Year and I think Group of the Year as well. And we didn't have anything prepared for a speech, which is typical of us. We really have to stop doing that because we never think that we're going to win. So we're like, nah, we won't write anything. But yeah, I was terrified to go up there and talk to people. But yeah, we just did a little speech. We also performed, which was my favorite part of it, to be honest with you. When I found out about the nominations, I was excited. But when I found out we were playing, I almost cried. I was so happy to be asked to play the award show.
1 song, 2 songs?
1 song.
How do you pick that one song?
Well, they're usually you know, they usually say, please choose something that's, you know, uplifting or has a bit of energy. You know, you always get someone who sings a ballad, but overall they want, you know, some energy, something that most people might know. So I think it was a given that Hope would be the choice, because that was our first single off this album. It made the most impact, and I think after the pandemic, being hopeful is really the message. So
you're on stage, you're at the ECMAs performing.
Well, there's some talent out in the audience.
so much talent.
You're
yeah.
nervous, but you
Yes.
must feel powerful. Like, tell us what it feels like to perform like that, because I'll never get that experience.
It's like this. It's jittery excitement, especially to share the stage with the people that we really wanted to. Like Chris Kirby was there, who's like our main collaborator. So to have him on the stage with us too was fantastic. Like, share that experience with him.
I've seen him perform, and it is electric.
Right?
Yeah.
He can play just about any instrument.
This piano, I've
Yeah.
never seen a guy play piano. Like, I don't know if
Wow.
you've seen him, Alan. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, he's really, really talented. So that was really cool.
Doesn't sit down much though, does he?
No, no, he has a lot of energy. That's for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange to see so many people in the audience. You have to really not think about the fact like of who they are, because otherwise you're going to completely psych yourself out.
Yeah.
But no, it was just this high. I can't even explain, like, when you're done something like that. Yeah.
Is there any footage of that particular performance?
There is, and now that I watch it back, I'm like, oh, I can tell I was more nervous than I even thought I was.
Right.
But you can also see the joy and the excitement in everyone's face on the stage. So it's really cool to still have that, to be able to watch it back.
Maybe I'll get my hands on a little bit, and if we can,
Yeah.
intersperse it in.
Mm-hmm.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
So, what's over the horizon for you? Where do you want to take this?
Where do we want to go? We've really built our team more. You know, we have a booking agent who's amazing from iBook shows, and even over the pandemic, they've been doing the most they possibly can for us. So we have, I think, 6 festivals in a row at Vancouver Island.
What part of Vancouver
Music.
Island?
It's in Comox, yeah.
Alan and I are Navy guys. We know that
no
area
way.
very well.
Yeah.
I've never been to BC except for those 2 shows that we played, but never like in Vancouver, and so that's gonna be cool.
Beautiful,
But
beautiful place.
yeah, we have Vancouver Island, and then Vancouver Folk Fest. There's like Canmore and Mission. We're doing Grand Prairie again, and we're doing Lunenburg in between, so we have to like fly and then fly back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have Trails, Tales, and Tunes coming up not too long, and Iceberg Alley, so there's a bunch. And then after that, I think, you know, moving out a bit more is kind of the thing. We would love to go to the UK. I think that is a huge goal for us.
Right.
Just from what we've heard of people's appreciation for music over there as well, and, you know, they don't mind if they don't know the band. There's very curated audiences for music, and they trust the venues to bring in, you know, music. So hopefully we do that. I would love to go to the States too. I'll go anywhere.
It brings to mind
Anywhere.
a question though,
Yeah.
on the business side of this. You know, do you have a sense of pockets of where your audiences are? Is that something that you know, or are you working towards finding that out?
I think a bit of both. Especially, you know, in Canada, we're pretty good now on the East Coast. We sort of understand where we should go and where we shouldn't. But the West Coast of Canada is all up in the air for us. I think the festivals will help a lot, because you get so many different people watching that you wouldn't normally come together, probably.
Right.
So that's a really great audience builder. So that's going to be, like, amazing for us. Yeah, and anywhere outside of that, it's really just us looking at other artists and trying to figure out, you know, what they're doing and what works and what doesn't. And we have a lot of contacts that we can ask, and they're more than happy to help. So
It sounds like a very, well, I know it is, right? The whole musical community, they're very collaborative. They want to see people thrive, right?
they do.
Jerry and I often use the term that a rising tide floats all boats. And I think the music community is that. They want to see people collaborate and work together, and everybody do well.
Yeah.
But I think, Alan, on that note, you know, Music NL, I've been around the advertising world in St. John's for many years. under Rhonda's leadership, it seems to me that Music NL is really starting to be a more cohesive unit. Some of the board members with business backgrounds and all that, the fact that we're here having this conversation with you, it excites me to be in front of musicians. And the juxtaposition, I said this to Dwayne Andrews, of music and business is a really important thing. And
It is.
You guys seem like you're really getting it together with the various aspects of your business, you know? It is a business.
It is. It is
right?
a business. And I think Newfoundland has so much talent, but it did for a long time lack that business side. And the people who could commit to being managers and booking agents. And, you know, even artists here still need to have full-time jobs, which is understandable because there's not always so much income. But yeah, I think the building of the business side here is only is the next step and needs to happen, and I think we're on the right track.
Are you totally on your own with the music, or is there something else you're doing?
I am on my own. Jordan right now is working a little bit on the side. You know, mostly because of the pandemic. We were on a trajectory of being able to really do music full time and make it work. So we think now, especially with all of the things that we have set up and all of the excitement that's happening, that we are on our way to being,
And there's an
self-sufficient.
appetite, right? For people,
Yes.
there's an appetite for more and more and more.
Yeah.
So you're probably in the right place at the right time, and hopefully you get throughout Europe and everywhere.
I hope so.
That's going to be fantastic for you. So, okay, from, you know, on the street in Conception Bay South doing lip syncing, you know, through vet school, putting your hand inside that cow,
Can you stop bringing that up?
to winning an ECMA. What piece of advice would you give somebody?
Oh, I think it's just to keep trying. I know I said earlier about people just being afraid to make that investment, and it's understandable. I mean, I'm going to be 30 in like a few days, and I still live with my grandmother. So that's not the ideal situation for most people at 30, and that's not what they expect their life to be. But it can be hard to be able to have, you know, the house and the car and the kids and do this career. It's not impossible. It just may take longer than you think. And yeah, I think just keep trying and keep meeting people and keep connecting, and you will find your audience because people like all kinds of music. So,
Jerry?
Well, I was 29 before I moved out, and I told that, unfortunately, to my 14-year-old, who reminds me every day.
oh no.
Yeah, you didn't move out.
Yeah.
Listen, things happen at the right time.
Right.
So I can tell you from our experience, many years on from you, you have an incredible foundation, and it's obvious that you're quite open to the future. And I'm excited for you. All of those festivals, I wish I could get on a plane and go watch you, you know?
Yeah,
So
100%.
thank you for being here today. It's been an absolute pleasure, particularly around the creative process.
Yeah.
Another podcast, we'll delve more into that.
Well,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
very much for the wonderful conversation, and especially for the kind of the behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to create an album and the like. And congratulations on your ECMA.
Thank you.
You should be very proud. We're very proud. Newfoundland and Labrador is very proud of you for sure. What another great conversation on GaleForceWins, and it's such a privilege to be in conversation with creative people that are doing great things, making the world a better place, one song at a time, and I think it's just great. And a big shout out to the parrot, who is a big part of the conversation, Monty. You'll get free, my friend. You'll get free eventually. So thank you very much for joining us here at GaleForceWins, and I'll tell you this, the world needs more Kirsten Rodden-Clarke. Thank you.
Thank you.
I get lost, running circles in my mind. That's the cost of living the dream as you and I. And all our friends are growing up, some are going gray. But look at us, we haven't aged a day.